Hello again. It's day 5 of the PAX video marathon, and today I present to you Patric from Wild Boy Studios, who is going to talk about their game Tunnel Tactics. This is a 2D side-scrolling RTS tower defense game that appears to have an incredibly high skill ceiling, with both macro and micro gameplay being important. Tunnel Tactics is still under active development with no trailer or media, so this interview is all I have to show regarding gameplay. But I enjoyed this demo so much I just had to talk about it. Enjoy.
This is Patric with representing the game Tunnel Tactics. Patric, give us the 2-minute, 1-minute elevator pitch. What's the game all about?
Absolutely, thank you for having me. So Tunnel Tactics is a roguelike base building RTS game where you control one of 9 commandos across 3 factions, and your goal is to defeat the Hyperflora, a sentient plant species who has taken over the surface, and you try to reclaim it back.
Awesome.
Your goal is to build like a formidable base, and then during the day go and capture resources, come back and build out the base and survive as long as you can, and then eventually go and defeat the boss Catalyst who lurks on the surface.
So there is an end game with, obviously, even though it's a survival kind of like procedure generated roguelite RTS, there is an end game that you're trying to defeat. Is there like an infinite mode you guys are planning, or is it always going to be you're just trying to beat the game in the fastest amount of time? Like, what's your end game looking like in this game at this stage?
Yeah, so the game will feature an end game, both within the run, but also like narratively. So you can defeat the boss, and that technically is the end game, but then it will go into an optional endless mode, where you can continue building out your base and face off waves for as long as you can survive. The game will feature a hub base that's somewhat inspired by Hades, where in between runs you will come back and you will get unlocks for future runs, like new blueprints, some meta progression, and also some character development.
Awesome. What was the art direction with the game? Like, what made you choose an underground kind of stylization? Tell me about that kind of direction.
Some of the decisions we made with this game were around the strengths of our team. So our art director is really good at doing 2D art, and while we've built top-down games before, we really liked the way that we can kind of like be creative with this kind of game. And a lot of the art direction is inspired by The Last of Us and games like Kingdom. And we think that it is a really interesting way to reimagine what an RTS game can look like and feel like.
Yeah, well, just quickly playing it, as you mentioned, you're switching between different floors. It does have that kind of element of, I need to micromanage and macromanage my resources and my characters. We talked about that just before we're doing this interview. How, in your QA testing, we found that you've had to, in fact, tune down some of the micro gameplay.
Yeah, so here at PAX, we're testing the build for the very first time, and we've done a lot of learning. It's been interesting to observe people, some people really enjoy the micromanaging and controlling up to 4 squads and building stuff and doing all of this at once, while many other people have come and really enjoyed just kind of cruising around and doing things a little bit more slow-paced. So one of the biggest challenges now will be to really find that line that will make the most people happy and not upset anyone.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, you don't want to make the market too niche so that no one wants to play it, despite it being a cool idea and everything. Yeah.
One of the worries with going too far in the direction of making a hardcore RTS game is that a lot of RTS fans might want a top-down game, because that's what basically every RTS game out there is. So we will try and make this an approachable RTS, but without losing the essence of what makes the RTS game good. That's the goal behind the game.
Yeah, I guess that's something that it flicked a switch in my mind anyway, because as you said, most RTS is traditionally a top-down, managing multiple units in one go. This is more macro in the sense it's less units, but you're not on that top-down view, so way more things to consider.
Yeah.
What was the decision-making process of we want an RTS that looks like this for starters, but also add roguelike elements? How did it come in on the cutting room floor as that being the decision of it being the game?
Yeah. The roguelike aspect comes from our previous game. So we have built a roguelike deck builder before, and we have built a lot of experience when it comes to building roguelike systems. And we also tried to find a niche for ourselves. So there's lots of RTS games, of course, and it's really hard to stand out in today's market. So we thought that, hey, why not try and put this modern twist onto a very established genre, be a little bit more what indies are all about, a little bit more risk happy, and try and do something cool and new and see how it goes. And I think key for us is playtesting, just show it to people, listen to people, get feedback, test, and then see where it goes.
What have you had to do in terms of trying to get quality consultation to represent everything accurately? Like, obviously, do you have an art team of existing assets where you like, this is the style we want to go with, or we've never gone with a style before, so we need to do consultation of like, how do other games look, or how other different artist styles kind of come together? So I just want to know a bit more of like the process of designing the game and how that art process was kind of decided.
Absolutely. So while I'm not the artist myself, I can speak a little bit for my team.
And just quickly interrupt, in addition to what I was going to say, I just remembered, you've got a little bit of the Flash feel. How was that informed?
Yeah, so we are big suckers for old school games. Our previous game is like an 80s inspired neon, like a synthwave game. Flash games are the games we grew up in. Age of War was one of the first ones that actually inspired this idea. While that game is very simple, we thought that there's more that we can do with this kind of like perspective, with the way that the game looks, and also like with the way that we animate things. So one of the big challenges with this game was that we wanted to really represent what the characters look like, especially because we have war gear. That kind of war gear should be represented on the characters. While in our previous games, all of the stuff we've done was hand-drawn, frame by frame. If you want to have skins in a game, that's not going to be possible. We have hundreds of items, all of them should show up and like be visually represented. So we had to learn new techniques. One of the things we had to learn was doing like a spine rig based animation process. So we had to go out and like look how other people did it, and then we kind of like found that doing a mix of both, having like hand-drawn animations where we rotoscope and use some old school animation techniques, but then also like use skeletal animation works best for us.
That's awesome. Have you found, you mentioned challenges before, what other challenges have you had to come across and that you've never seen in your previous title that you've had in this project experience, and how will you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, it's early days, but I think the biggest challenge with this is definitely trying to find the right balance between difficulty, pacing especially, and just understanding what works and what doesn't. When you play your own game, everything kind of always works, and then things just kind of like, oh yeah, this is cool, but then you show it to someone, they play it for the first time, and you can't make those kind of assumptions. So the biggest challenge really is so that we can make the game enjoyable the first hour, because we believe that once you get past that first hour and you really deep dive into the systems of the game, you will probably end up enjoying it if it's your kind of game.
Yeah.
So the challenge will be to have that first hour, that onboarding, that really like good like initial experience polished and solid and easy to pick up.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your game. You mentioned earlier before you're looking at a 2026 release. Are you going to be releasing on Steam? Are you going to be doing another platform? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so currently we are aiming for a PC first build, but we will launch with controller support from day one. And depending on how things go, we might also do a simultaneous launch on consoles, but we can't promise that as of now. Yeah.
Totally understandable. Patric, it's been lovely talking to you. I'm a big sucker for RTS, so seeing a different genre mold, very cool already. And I also that like tower defense, love it as well. So thanks for chatting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming by and like checking it out and all your feedback.
Of course, and just for your benefit, anything else you want to say that I didn't capture in this little quick catch up?
If you like what you see, come and join our Discord.
Definitely. All right, thank you.
We'll be sharing builds and early demos, and it's incredibly important to get feedback. So if you like this kind of game, we will listen to you, and we love to engage with the community.
Yeah, I can imagine doing some of that QA consultation with players can be very valuable in forming next decisions in the game.
The earlier the better, the more the better. So we'll be on it, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, have a great rest of your PAX. Only a few hours left, but thanks for taking your time.
Thank you so much. Cheers.